Now we bring everything together. Your challenge is to shape a secure enterprise AI platform on Azure, using TOGAF thinking from vision to migration and defending each decision like a practicing architect in review. You've already built the major ingredients: TOGAF foundations, ADM execution, Azure and AI solution design, security, governance, and delivery planning. In this capstone, those threads become one coherent architecture package, something you can explain, defend, and improve. The capstone is where separate course components become a connected architecture story. You are not simply collecting documents. You are showing how business strategy leads to requirements, how requirements shape BDAT and Azure design choices, and how those choices connect to security, governance, controls, and a delivery roadmap. The key skill is traceability. Executives should see why the architecture matters. Delivery teams should see what to build. Risk and governance stakeholders should see how decisions are controlled. The result should feel like a portfolio-ready deliverable. Think of the architecture package as the evidence set behind your recommendation. It should establish strategic context, the vision, stakeholders, principles, and key requirements. It should define the architecture itself, showing current and target states across business, data, application, and technology. It should make the change explicit through gap analysis, risks, security controls, and the roadmap or migration plan. Finally, it should include governance, decision records, assumptions, constraints, review criteria, and change control. A strong package lets reviewers understand not only what you propose, but why it is credible and deliverable. An architecture vision turns a technology idea into a business conversation. For a secure Azure AI platform, the starting question is not, which model do we deploy? It is, what problem is worth solving? The vision captures drivers like productivity, better insight, automation, customer experience, and innovation. It also sets boundaries. Which business units, use cases, data domains, AI capabilities, and Azure environments are in scope. Most importantly, it defines proof of value. Success might mean less manual effort, faster decisions, stronger compliance, or new AI-enabled services. That clarity keeps stakeholders aligned before detailed architecture begins. From there, focus on who is affected and what they need. Identify executives, business and data owners, security, compliance, platform teams, developers, operations, and users. Then capture what each group cares about: value, cost, privacy, usability, explainability, resilience, and delivery risk. Architecture principles translate those concerns into design guardrails, such as secure by design, responsible AI, data minimization, reusable platforms, automation, and cloud first where it fits. For the capstone, do not just name principles. Show the evidence, evaluation criteria, and design decisions each principle actually drives. Before designing the target Azure AI platform, establish an honest baseline of how work happens today. Document business processes, data sources, applications, integrations, and infrastructure, including on-premises dependencies. Then identify friction: duplicated or fragmented data, inconsistent access controls, manual handoffs, siloed reporting, and limited AI governance. Security matters just as much. Capture the identity model, data protection controls, monitoring, audit trails, and compliance gaps. This baseline is not paperwork. It defines the constraints, risks, and priorities that shape the target architecture and migration roadmap. Target architecture is where the AI vision becomes an operating model. The business view defines what capabilities change, who owns decisions, and how processes will work. The data view defines trusted domains, classification, lineage, quality, and access. The application view defines the experiences, APIs, orchestration, integrations, and workflows that people and systems will use. The technology view defines the Azure foundation: landing zones, compute, network, identity, security, monitoring, and deployment. The key is alignment. Each view should reinforce the others, while governance, security, responsible AI, and operations cut across everything. Gap analysis turns architecture ambition into an executable path. Compare the baseline and target across capabilities, data, applications, technology, security, governance, and operations. The differences will not all be the same. Some are capability or process gaps. Others are technology, control, skills, or compliance gaps. Once each gap is named, prioritize it by value, urgency, dependencies, complexity, and risk exposure. Transition architecture then sequences the work into achievable states, so the organization can reduce risk while delivering business value before the full target state is reached. Now the target architecture becomes an Azure operating model. Business users and data scientists access governed applications and workspaces through identity, network controls, and landing zone policies. Data flows from lakes and warehouses into AI and machine learning services, where models are trained, deployed, and integrated into applications. Operations teams monitor reliability, security, cost, and compliance across the environment. The landing zone provides the foundation. Management groups, subscriptions, policies, and segmented networks keep teams autonomous while maintaining enterprise control. This blueprint makes the platform scalable, resilient, and ready for future workloads. Security architecture is not a feature added at the end. It is the control system that shapes every connection, identity, and workload. Start with Microsoft Entra ID as the trust anchor. Authenticate strongly, authorize with least privilege, elevate only when needed, and enforce conditional access. Design the network so traffic follows intentional paths through segmentation, private endpoints, firewalls, and controlled ingress and egress. Secrets should never live in code. Use Key Vault and managed identities. Finally, make controls measurable with policy, logging, threat protection, encryption, and secure administration across the full environment. Responsible AI starts with trusted data, not with a model. Enterprise sources are ingested, stored, and transformed in platforms such as Azure Data Lake, Synapse, Fabric, or Databricks. Microsoft Purview adds cataloging, classification, lineage, policy, and access control. Before data reaches AI services, protection controls reduce risk, minimize sensitive fields, mask what users should not see, encrypt data, and use private access. Then responsible AI controls guide model choice, prompts, evaluations, content safety, human review, and monitoring. The result is secure, governed integration into applications like copilots, chatbots, and cognitive services. A complete architecture package does more than show components and data flows. It explains how the platform connects, ships, runs, and improves. Integration patterns define how systems exchange requests, events, and workflows securely, using services such as API management, service bus, event grid, logic apps, or functions where they fit. Deployment makes environments repeatable through infrastructure as code, CI/CD, policy checks, and promotion paths. Monitoring closes the loop with Azure Monitor, log analytics, application insights, Sentinel, dashboards, incident response, and rollback plans, so operations feed continuous improvement. At practitioner level, architecture is accountable, not just clever. Every major choice needs a decision record: the context, options considered, selected approach, rationale, consequences, and when it should be reviewed. Capture what you rejected as well, because trade-offs around cost, complexity, security, scalability, resilience, and compliance often explain the design better than the final diagram alone. Risks also need ownership. Track probability, impact, mitigation, status, escalation, and the person responsible. Governance turns documentation into discipline. Architecture review board checkpoints, standards compliance, exceptions, and change control keep the architecture aligned as conditions evolve. The Capstone brings the full TOGAF journey together into one professional architecture package. Your work should connect vision, stakeholders, principles, requirements, BDAT design, risk, security, roadmap, and governance. Just as importantly, your Azure choices must be defensible, traceable, and realistic. Next, you will practice defending those decisions, then sharpen your TOGAF exam readiness.